Hi traders, how you guys doing? In this edition of the before and after, we'll be covering the GBPUSD long trade that was sent to the Telegram members group last week. I believe it was around about the 9th of July. So what I was expecting in GBPUSD was some bullish movement. As you can see here, we had our swing high, swing low, and our swing high. And then we connected those two to have a trend line. So my expected entry was around about in this area of support at around about price at 1.24806. So I was waiting for price to at least come to these levels or slightly lower but close above it, and then to see price rise up to come tap that trend line as my target. So the pips that I was gunning for in this trade was a 100 pip trade, and I used a 30 pip stop loss, and the risk to reward ratio in this trade was a 1:3.49 risk to reward ratio. So we saw price making a swing high, swing low, swing high, and then making a swing low, and then that was our recent swing high area there. So when price dropped again to make the last swing low, if you can see from the left, from this region here, so this was a previous support, and then this was the previous support here. So a lot of stops were around these areas here. So that's why I was waiting for price to first come back to this area here to just confirm that the markets have cleaned out the board and they're ready to rise. So I was really patiently waiting for the setup. So price indeed came back to these regions here, and then they rose up. So let's just go to the trade, and then I'll show you how it went out. So this was the aftershot. So let me show you the area that I'd marked out, where I was expecting price to retrace from. So this was the area that I'd marked out. This was the area that I'd marked out. This is the area that I'd marked out. Let me just one out. Okay, perfect. So this is the area that I'd marked out, and that's where I was expecting sort of price to come into that region here to test it as support and to finally break out of this area right here, because that was a previous support for this box here. So I was expecting for price to break above and test it for me to get the long trade. So we're still bullish with GBPUSD, but there was a nice trade setup. So let me just go to the 1 hour. I'll show you exactly where I took my trade. So if you can see clearly here, we had some price consolidation for a while. It was literally almost half a day of price consolidation at these regions here. So like there's a lot of price consolidation, and they were really choppy. They were playing sideways. If you can see here, they gave a hammer, gave a doji, they gave some spinning tops, they finally gave a hammer. But this area was an area of significance because it was an area of support. As you can see, price bounced once, 1, 2, the third bounce, and then price, I was expecting price to shoot up. So if I can just zoom in nicely and I'll show you where I took my trade. There was this 3-pin formation there was this nice 3-pin formation here. As you can see, that's candle 1, candle 2, candle 3. So after this area of consolidation, and I started to see this kind of price action movement, point 1, point 2, point 3. Because this formation has been playing out so many times in the charts, it always repeats itself, and it always does what it always does. So after that 1, 2, 3 candlestick formation, I entered at the close of this bullish stick right here. So my entry was right at that level. So my entry was right at that level here, that close, and I was scanning for 100 pips. Also, what also helped me to form that target, if you look on the left here, we had a really strong area of support previously at these areas here. So support, 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 resistance. So this was a really good area for you to place your target. So that was my area for my target. So just above, slightly on 100 pips. So it's actually 102 pips. 102 pips, sorry. 102 pips, and I had a 30 pip stop loss. So risk to reward ratio 1:3.37. Aimed for 102 pips. Right after the pair played out, they retraced immediately, and then they continued going upwards. But I was really out of my trade. Good risk to reward ratio, a good amount of pips. So on this trade, I had about 3 entries. So in total, amounting to 300 pips on this trade. So can you see, if you just follow like basic simple rules and just studying price action, waiting for price to hit their lows and confirm that they've hit their lows before taking a trade. And when price, for example, price here, you can see that price has been failing to break this area here. They failed for a while, and then they came and showed you some other signs of failure there, and then that could be a valid entry. So always wait for price to give you their lows and fail to break the lows, and then take a trade. So never be in a hurry to take a trade. You'll always have opportunities to place a trade. So I hope you guys enjoyed the before and after for this trade setup, and I really hope it helps you guys in your own personal trading. Thank you so much, guys, and on to the